Before we dive into today's episode, we want to provide a content warning. We will be discussing the tragic and sensitive topic of the bodies found in the Houston Bayous. This includes detailing the discovery of human remains, the causes of death where known, and the community's response. This content may be disturbing or triggering, particularly to those with personal connections to the cases or for those sensitive to graphic true crime topics. Your mental health is important, so please listen at your own discretion.
Step across this line. I dare you, motherfucker. Cross this one.
Electric sparking wires exposed. Scrota cuts deep where the truth erodes. Rebel in the trenches, voice explodes. This the HLS, the code overloads.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the HLS podcast. Your mother's favorite seducers. Brent, help me out here.
Hippies loving showers. Just say help out. You want me to do all of them.
No, I'm sorry. That one took me though.
You know, you got to hit to that point. Late to the party. Radical Teddy and Friends. The podcast that never was. Name pending. I'm the Rebel Alliance.
And this is Electric Thunder. Yeah, I literally had to go on mute just now because that one freaking took me.
Word.
Yo, for real.
You muted yourself from laughing?
Yo, it was too much. I think it was too much. Oh, man.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It gets edited out, and I always feel some type of way. I'm like, but the laugh was there.
Yeah.
Womp womp. Yeah. All right. Things that are not funny, though. Murders. This is not a crime podcast. It's not. But
it could be a true crime podcast.
I mean, I feel like I would definitely step over a line.
When I like work at night, I'm watching true crime stuff.
Like what?
I think YouTube would be.
There's so
really
many
good
channels.
detectives.
So JCS is like everybody's like first gateway drug to like the YouTube true crime space.
What is JCF?
JCS is a YouTube channel that's just amazing. Like the guy is like, he's good, does the research, you know, has an interesting, compelling story. You know, I mean, everybody likes watching Dateline, you know what I'm saying? But like the YouTube true crime area is good. Anyway, JCS is dope. EW is dope. Monsters is dope, but it's a little freaky. And then there's like that chapter is pretty good, but the host like tries to be like too funny nowadays. So like I don't really like it, but the stories are pretty good. So those are like four of them that are really good that I like watching. But there's a lot of imposters that try to be JCS, but like they're not as good. There is one channel that did a JCS parody, and I think they deep faked his voice, and it is pure cinema. It's hilarious, but yeah, if you like true crime stuff and you don't know about the true crime space on the internet, type in JCS on YouTube's and you'll be treated to some pretty good content. JCS criminal psychology.
I'm just trying to figure out what the J stands for.
John.
That's probably a name.
Word. I really thought you were gonna say like justice changes, you know. No, but okay. No,
Yo,
John.
Do you guys encounter a lot of women?
Jesus Christ Superstar. Huh?
Definitely not this channel.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys ever encounter like a lot of women that watch these crime shows?
No.
No?
No.
Oh man, I must have been talking to a lot of women that do watch that shit.
When you say a lot, what do you mean a lot? A lot of times people say a lot, they mean like 3. So when you say a lot, what are you talking about?
I've met over 10.
Too many.
Yeah.
Why are you meeting 10 women?
Hey.
Philander.
I mean, this is over the span of years, bro.
Only meeting time matters.
True crime is the number one genre of podcasts. So it's not uncommon that you'd run into a bunch of women or men or anybody that watches a lot of true crime stuff because it's like the number one genre of podcasting.
Anecdotally, 1 in 3 HLS hosts listen to true crime podcasts.
1 in 3 HLS hosts out of the hundreds of HLSOs. Your sample size is your universe size.
Yeah, that's what I said anecdotally.
I go through these little like 4-month like deep dives on like one section of the internet, and I just binge watch nothing but that content. And y'all are probably going to put me back on this because I've been off of true crime for a while.
Hey, you should stream it. I'll watch it with you.
And then every year or so, I dive into like World War One, like super hardcore. World War One was like in my opinion, the much more interesting war. So,
was that the one with Franz Ferdinand?
Yeah, they tried to blow that man up and shoot him, and then he botched that thing twice. The man was just chilling at a restaurant or something. This motherfucker pulled up right next to him, like a cartoon. Like, yo,
damn, my joke went by.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, hey, the singer, but now time has passed.
Yeah. But yeah, time matters. Wait a minute, why are we talking about murder?
Because apparently there have been 16 bodies found over a year. Or
what's the official score? What's the score? Well, I shouldn't call it a score. What's the official
if you tell me
tally?
16 bodies were found in the last week, that's crazy. But over a year?
16 over the last year is a lot, bro. Like, I don't understand why. And you're not the only person that I heard. Six bodies in 2 weeks, bro. Like, what? Like, what?
And you know how this is a big
six
deal.
in 2 weeks sounds like a lot. That is concerning.
That is.
But at the same time, if you told me like 6 over the year, like 16 over the year, that doesn't sound like that much. It's like your billion, you know.
No.
It's 1,000 million doesn't sound like 1,000 million doesn't sound like a lot, but 6, you know.
Listen, Houston is known as the Bayou City. There's lots of bayous. They're connected. Yeah. Most of them are connected, right, into a system. Okay. Now, the thing is that it's right now, it is, as of this recording, it's October. Okay, early October. Let's assume that this is late. This is December 31st, and we're at the number 16. That's more than one a month, okay? And let's assume that it's 16 individual murders, right? That there's no serial killer or whatever, okay? Statistically, that's not true. But let's say it's 16 individual homicides, right? That's more than one a month. Now, that doesn't sound crazy, but if you consider that they're all being dumped in the bayou, that's crazy. No. Because they're all being dumped in the same places. You understand? Like, if it was like 16 bodies have been found behind Blockbuster, or not Blockbuster, behind like AMC movie theaters, like, that's weird.
Well, if they're all being dumped in the same place, that first off sounds like law enforcement is messing up, because it's like,
that's my point.
How many times do?
This is my point, and that's the best case scenario. Again, think about that. If it was, take the Bayou out, and let's say they're being dumped behind AMC movie theaters, you would be like, that sounds normal. You know what I mean?
What's a city that you feel has like a high murder rate?
I disagree. No, Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia. Philly, Baltimore, right? No, hold on. You're telling me that if once a month someone was killed and left in the back of different AMC movie theaters, you'd be like, that sounds normal.
Yes. I'm from America.
Don't go into law enforcement.
Okay, first off,
hold on, Jay, Electric. Would that be weird? Would that be weird to you?
Yes, that would be weird. But the other thing about that is, I don't feel that argument works with the Bayou, because a Bayou, I see and this is my perception of it, I see a Bayou as like a forest, pretty much. Like, it's somewhere where you could just, if someone was to do that, they could just dump a body there.
Which Houston Bayous are you familiar with?
None at all.
Exactly. I know you're not, because you said that.
But what bayous are you familiar with? There are so many. Like
Brays, Hayes, Buffalo.
Yes. Which of those intersect?
Forster. A lot of them feed into each other, like Brays, Brays and Hayes.
There's so much ground to cover. If you were to say like, oh, we're going to put a task force on the bayous, They probably already had, like, that's so much.
This is why I gave the analogy of different AMC movie theaters.
Even that's not enough. You need to say you'd have to say a parking lot. If you told me bodies were dumped in parking lots, that'd be more akin to bodies being dumped in the bayou. There are so many.
No,
bayous.
but a bayou specific, bro.
There's not enough AMCs.
It's not a random place.
There's more bayous than there are AMCs in the city.
How many bayous do you think? How many bayous do you think there are in Houston?
Enough that I wouldn't even.
Guess. Guess. Don't look it up. Guess.
I'm gonna say like at least 60.
Okay. How many AMCs are in Houston?
Probably a good 12 to 15.
Okay.
There have to be more.
There are 22 bayous in Houston.
Only 22?
There's 22 bayous in Houston. That is a lot.
22 named bayous? Because are we not counting like all these?
You think they're calling a stream of dude? It's 22 bayous in Houston, and that's a lot for a city. Which is why we're the Bayou City. There's not 60 something. So if they're dumping, so that means they've dumped almost one body in a bayou in the year. That's a lot, dude.
There's 473 murders in the city a year.
There are more AMCs than bayous.
Murder rate.
There are more AMCs than bayous.
Really?
Which is the opposite of what you just said. If there was more, there is more.
Because I see bayous all the time. I feel like I never.
You driving by the same bayou.
I'm driving.
Hold on, bitch. Where do you go?
I was just thinking the same shit. I was just thinking the same thing.
Where do you go? God. No.
I go to a lot of practices.
Like, this guy does not leave the house.
Nah, bro.
Practices. I'm gonna take the kids to the zoos.
My point is,
I know what I don't do. I don't go jogging in their bayous at night. That's for dang sure.
I used to play in the bayous, bro. Like near the bayou, not in the bayou, but
to your point, that's what you're like. That means your parents let their kids play in a bayou,
not in a bayou. Our apartment complex was directly, like, our backyard was the bayou.
Which one?
You know what I'm saying? Brace.
Okay.
So,
but still.
So when you say that, if they say parking lots, no, there's thousands of parking lots in Houston.
That's
saying that they were
like.
That's what it feels like, and what it is are two completely different things.
All right, I'm just saying. Look,
and that's why I'm trying to bring a little bit of data to it, because you're not the only person I know that said that's not a big deal. That's actually kind of really wild that this is going on. And again, 6 in the last 2 weeks. And that's assuming we're getting full coverage on all 22 bayous. Most of them are located around Buffalo Bayou.
But isn't that the biggest and longest one?
It's the one that's centered, yeah. And if it's not a lake, it's a bayou.
Right. That's even worse.
That is even worse. This is crazy, is my point.
I guess my point is, let's say, I'm going to kill somebody. I'm going to dump their body in the bayou, right? In theory, that body is going to float and get washed somewhere, because it's like, I'm not like trying to find rocks to like weigh the body down. So like, oh, they can't find it. Like, no, I'm doing a quick dump and run. Like, I'm sure there's trash that gets dumped in the bayous. All kinds of things get dumped.
Lots
in
of
the bayous,
things.
in my opinion. So to me, if you're like, oh, they found a body in the bayou, I'm like, wait, they weren't dumping bodies in the bayou before? We're like, where were these murderers dumping their bodies? Like,
they're all in just 5 bayous, by the way. 5 of the 22.
They're probably convenient bayous. Like,
let's say it's the most convenient bayou. That's still a problem. The fact that you were reducing the size is what you were looking for in the first place. So it is reduced now. You're like, you know how large of a distance that covers? The area is getting smaller and smaller. Like, it's just 5 of the bayous. Even if it was in the biggest, largest, most central bayou, that many bodies getting dumped in the body is statistically abnormal. And at best, it's a law enforcement issue that no one's seeing this. Like, at best.
Nah, because that's still a lot of ground to cover. Like,
listen, man, they can put these 16 bodies in your local dumpster, and I don't think it'll be like, what the hell? They put the dumpster in front of your house, be like, I guess,
because that's
I guess
one
it's a
dumpster,
Tuesday.
and it's like, hey, y'all don't want to watch the dumpster? That one dumpster right there.
This is my point. At best, it's a what's law enforcement doing? At best, that's the problem. You know,
How many-
if I said 50, you wouldn't be impressed. If I said 5, I don't think you'd be impressed. I don't think it matters. I think those are questions that have no answer that changes your opinion.
more than 2,500 miles of bayous in Houston.
Out of the 22, but they've only been found in 5.
Those 5 are probably easier to dump in than the rest of them. Like, yo, I'm sure murders happen in parks too, but probably not in.
What bayous are you familiar with? That's the same question I asked you. That's
I'm not familiar with any bayous.
So what? So what are you comparing it to?
What do you mean? What am I comparing it to? I'm comparing.
You said
it to
I'm sure. You
dumping
said
a body at night. I'm not gonna do it in broad daylight. Like,
no.
I'm
You
sure
said you
did
said
the statistics on how many bodies are found at night versus how many are found in like how many bodies are dumped at night versus how many are dumped in the day. It should skew towards night.
you said dumpsters. You're comparing it to dumpsters. Then you compare it to a forest. Then you're comparing it to a parking lot.
Like if this was Vegas and you were like, oh man, they keep finding bodies in the desert. I'm like, yeah, they should.
Are you comparing but you're comparing a desert to 4 bayous, which
bayou?
you're not familiar with. Which you're not familiar with.
Okay. First off, you're essentially talking about a graduated like ditch. The bayou is there to take the water from like the city and the other surrounding areas and take it out to the Gulf of Mexico. This sounds perfect for dumping a body. So it's not like in the grand scheme of like evil mastermind, this is not like, oh man, nobody ever thought of that before. I'm like,
you took stats, right?
Huh?
You took stats, right?
Yes.
Would you think that this is statistically abnormal?
No.
Don't we look for statistical outliers? What's that based on?
You said 16 out of 473
No.
murders.
I said, what's that based? I said, what's that
tracking significance?
I said, what's that based on?
What do you mean?
How many bodies do you think get found in the bayou a year?
I don't know. I don't keep that number. So that's what I'm saying.
Shouldn't you use that information to base
That's why
whether
I was
this is
asking
abnormal
you.
or not?
Like, y'all are saying like this is a big number. How many bodies are usually found in the bayou per year?
It's like a handful, like 2, 3.
Is that because there were only 3 or nobody was looking? Because
Does it
it's kind
matter?
of like,
Does it matter?
Yes, it's just like
Why?
news stories. Because it's just like news stories. Now there's a bias. So now that we know about it, we start looking for it. The same way when there's a wildfire.
They're not old ass bodies. They're not like old bodies that have been there since they're like the 30s, and they were just counting them. These are all new.
Yes, but it's in the news cycle now. Just like with the news cycle. Once something breaks the news cycle, and suddenly they start saying like, oh yeah, this happened. And yeah, this one happened too. And now this one happened too. And part of it is that we're just paying attention to it. It had been happening, but now that you're calling attention to it, we're going to see it more.
Let me ask you this question.
It'd be like if they started saying like, oh, this politician got found doing this specific crime that we don't usually see. Now that we looked into it, this politician got found doing this crime. This politician, and it's not like, oh man, these politicians are suddenly all doing this crime. No.
It's like the whole Trump not returning the documents thing.
Boom. Everybody cares about the Epstein files all of a sudden. No, everybody always cared, but now it's in the news cycle.
Let me ask you this. I think that this number is relatively high, and it's indicative of some type of trend, because we normally don't see this many bodies in Houston and the Houston bayous a year.
And you think that's because they weren't there, as opposed to nobody was looking?
Yeah, because these things wash up, dude. It's not like they went and took a big rake and put that at the bottom of the bayou, just scraped a bunch of shit. Like, oh, look what we found. They wash up and people call and report them.
Has there been any changes to the bayou so that now?
Well, hold on. You're looking for the exception. I understand what you're doing.
I'm just
no. I know. I understand what you're trying to do. Right.
I'm trying to rule out variables. I'm trying to make sure all the,
all things are constant. We're just assuming all things are constant. Okay. So let's start from there. Okay. Instead of start looking for chinks in armor that hasn't been presented. Okay. Now I forgot what I was trying to say. Right. Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I think that this is a high number, and I think this is indicative of some trend. I don't know what it is, it may turn out that, you know, there was a party that we didn't know about, and then all 16 people just jumped in at the same time. Who knows? But again, if that happened, that would be the
challenge.
That would be the outlier that we're talking about. Okay. So my question to you is, because you don't see this as a statistical anomaly and an outlier, what factors would we have to add to this story to make you say, that is a little abnormal or a little weird?
You would have to shorten the amount of time. So
to what?
Six being found in 1 week. Ooh.
That's what happened.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all 6 people that just went missing this week that are all found this week. Ooh. Or, these people have been missing for months. Now we're finding the bodies because, like, we're looking. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
they are washing up.
I need a lot more details. You know what I'm saying? I need to know how many bodies are found a year normally.
No, I'm saying be specific. Like, if it was like you said, six bodies washed up in a week would be like, that's crazy, right?
No, that's what you said. You said 6 were washed up in a week.
Uh-huh.
So, like, that's the first one that made me be like, that sounds out of normal.
What about 6 in a month?
6 a month doesn't sound. That's like you're starting to get to, like,
what kind of dystopian fucking world do you live in? That's crazy, dude.
I live in America, man.
Nah, bro.
Listen to how many true crime podcasts you just talked about, bro. Like, 473 murders happen in a year, and we are not a high murder rate city. Like,
you realize you're making the case. This is a massive city. This is America's 4th largest city. We only have 337 murders in Houston a year.
Yeah,
that's nothing. So a statistically relevant number of them are happening in or near these bayous.
You said over the course of a year, 16.
Correct.
Once you get to 6, with like,
what's 1%?
Again, there's 2,500 miles of bayou, and even if there's just
you're counting all 22. I told you things only happen.
I know,
5.
but
so why are you doing that? Why you keep doing that?
Because Buffalo Bayou is one of the biggest ones. Like, if I was gonna dump a body, that'd be where I'd dump one at night. Huh?
You can't use the whole when we're only talking about a part. That's exaggerating.
Oh my gosh, you can't do it. Matter?
It does matter.
Why?
Because you're expanding the size of the area. It's like you're straw manning it. Like, if you're talking about, like, it's so big of an area, but, like, actually the area is a lot smaller than you think, and then you keep referencing the largest size. That's not representing the information correctly. Absolutely matters.
So to that point, if it's so small an area, like the same body is getting found in exactly the same spot, walk me through more details to make this sound.
No, I'm
like
not.
An issue to me, because so far you're still not.
I'm not doing that.
Nothing you've said has.
And nothing I will say will. And nothing I will say will. No,
when you said it was 6 in a week, I'm like,
I said what?
I'll go jogging in that Bayou.
I said what specifically would it take you, and you didn't name anything specific.
Yes, I did. I told you shorten the amount of time, 6 in a week.
So only that.
I told you.
So 8 in a week. So 8 in 2 weeks. So 8 in 2 weeks.
Yes,
8 in 2 weeks.
Higher numbers than 6. This is bad.
I said 8 in 2 weeks. I also doubled the time, which cut in half the average.
Know the exact, like, where my threshold of, like, acceptance is. I live in America, bro. It's pretty high.
Okay. Anyway,
are you only now not feeling safe?
I don't not feel safe. I also have 2 sisters that live near the area, so, like, it's concerning to me.
Yes, but are they?
I mean, it's always been concerning to me.
Exactly. That's more my point.
No, but it's more concerning
now
because it's more concerning now.
Okay.
Because there's a statistical outlier happening right now.
Here's the problem. I think you think that I'm not concerned.
No.
The issue is I've always been concerned. I've just always been on guard, paranoid.
No, that's
the same way. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't go jogging in Central Park at night. Like, I wouldn't. Not even Central Park. There was a park that when I lived in New York, there was a park nearby. I ain't going in that park at night.
Look, I don't.
Hell to the no.
Look, I understand that, and I'm on the same page. I'm not over here shivering my boots and biting my nails like, oh, I'm not doing that. What I am saying is that it's statistical, like it's a statistical outlier. Like something's happening. It's pretty interesting. That's a little crazy.
I mean,
full
bro,
stop.
Real
Hey,
talk.
hold on.
Afraid of the
full
police.
Stop. Again,
Real
I'm
talk,
not over.
real
Hold
talk,
on.
real talk.
I'm not over here shivering in my boots. It's not about how afraid I am of this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Then I don't understand. It doesn't. I don't understand your point then, because
So then maybe the third time I say it, you'll hear it. My point is that this is a little strange because statistically this doesn't happen. So that means it's indicative of something else happening, some outside force happening. And I wonder what that is.
What, serial killer?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't think it's one person. I think it might be
Copycats?
not copycats. They probably would be categorized as copycats, but I think it might be somebody like, it might be individuals, right?
I mean,
So
I also
somebody
thought it was
does it.
organized crime.
That too. And they say,
like,
well,
oh,
they're going to pin this on one person. Let's just throw these in there too. You know?
Still problematic. Still problematic.
Strike while the iron is hot.
They weren't. I mean, they were killing
That
them
could
regardless.
that could be the issue. Like that could very well be it. And again, like I said, my thing, and the very least, this points out to like a lapse in law enforcement. Another lapse in law enforcement.
I know there was a story where a law enforcement officer was recently, this was like within the past, I think this was during COVID, he got caught. And he's pretty much an old man, but he was basically a serial killer, but 20 years before. And they finally figured out that it was him. Somebody noticed, damn, I wish I could get the story straight. I'm going to start Googling stuff so I could tell this story because this is really good.
I mean, it sounds like our 2 points of view will coincide. I'm over here like, man, I'm more afraid of the police. You like, man, it sounds like this is something nefarious, and it could be both. Organized crime. Hey man, overseers. People call them a gang too.
It was the Golden State Killer.
Isn't that the one that the movie was made about?
Yeah, he was arrested in
thinking of?
2018, and he was sentenced for 56 murders. And this was like murders during the 1970s and the 1980s. They used DNA evidence and bagged them. But there was a reason why somebody suspected him, and I can't find it. So, yeah.
So
Google that part too. How was he caught?
So I just looked it up, and over the course of the year, there's anywhere between 12 and 20 bodies that are recovered. What makes this case outstanding is the short period of time that they find some of these bodies. So it's more spread out, but these are being found in shorter periods of time. So that's the problem that's happening right now. And
That's what I said.
You want a fucking cookie? Like,
yes, because you over here like, you're not taking this seriously. You're not taking
no.
this
When hold on. When did I say you're not taking this seriously?
Yeah, you know what?
When did I say that?
I don't care.
So
Rewind.
you just straw manning me again, bro. Like, listen.
You never did. You know what?
I said that the frequency is an outlier.
Taking it serious. Okay.
The frequency is an outlier.
That's exactly. That's what I said.
Okay.
We're saying the same thing.
Okay. So
when it was 16 over the course of a year, I was like, that sounds normal. And then you just told me that is normal. So I'm like,
okay.
Well,
so
hold on. 30 minutes over here. Just
Electric, that story used to reminded me of one of these
I did.
true crime things that I watched. There was this one lady who there was a guy who had was dating this woman, like high school sweethearts or whatever, and then he like dumped her and then started dating this other woman who he eventually married and stuff like that. And then shortly after the marriage, she was like murdered and they never found the murderer or whatever. And so like DNA evidence came out like 15 or 20 years later. And it turns out that the person who that all the DNA matched for the assailant was actually a woman that worked in the police station. And so the detective like got all this evidence on her, and they were like, dang, dude, like, how are we going to do this? We can't pull her into the interrogation room. She knows what we're going to do there. You know what I'm saying? So we have to like try to figure out a way to interrogate her in a non-interrogation room. And so they basically acted like they were asking, like they were on another case doing a consult for another thing, and brought her into like a break room. And they're like, hey man, we had some questions about this other case we're working on. Your name popped up, and we don't want to bring you in an interrogation room because like we don't want to make this an official thing. Like that's weird, and that'll be really embarrassing for you. But like we just want to like ask you a couple questions about. It was really smooth how they did it. She knew something was up, but she didn't know like how. Like they were able to hold up the facade for a while before it was very obvious that something was going on, and she started freaking out. And it was really cool. It's actually on JCS, but it was really cool how they did it. Like I have a lot of respect for detectives that like do interrogation and questioning like the right way. You know what I mean? Because it's pretty. They lean on the fact that narcissists and sociopaths think that they're smarter than everybody. And even though they know they're trying to get caught, they're like, I can beat these people. And it's really the psychology of the interrogation is really dope to watch. And they also have examples of like really shitty interrogations or things that get like forced confessions that get thrown out and stuff like that. So it's pretty dope. So if you got a chance, you can check that one out. Let me see what it's called.
Let me Google this now. I want to see
Stephanie Lazarus. That's her name.
So for serial killers, a high amount of them are narcissists?
I mean, I don't know about narcissism, but I mean, sociopathy, it's probably...
Well, narcissism is grouped into that, no? Or like if you have...
No, I mean, there may be overlap, but they're two different things.
Okay. So this, like what's going on in Houston, I don't get a sense, and I'm in no way a detective, but I did read a lot of like serial killer stories growing up as a kid. So
I'm not a detective, but
no, but
I read Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah, right. I can't believe I just said that, man.
Put some respect on his name.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it, and it was as good as I thought it was gonna be.
Oh man, I really don't want to say my statement.
You have to now. Fuck that, you have to.
Oh man, I feel like such an idiot for saying that.
No, you got it, man.
All right, but so I while you guys were discussing everything, I decided to go on Google and like do a few searches, right? So I pulled up like there's a few things, right? Like one of the theories is this is a serial killer, and that's what people want to hang on, right?
Yeah, because it's the fun one.
Yeah. But I'm thinking there's something a little more organized, or there's something that's just coincidental and everybody's seeing this as a spot. What I said earlier, as if, like it's easy to dump a body in a forest where nobody's looking, right? If it's at nighttime, nobody's walking through the bayou. And I'm pretty sure it's not really supervised. There's probably a low amount of law enforcement there because obviously we're finding the bodies there. So people are taking note of this. And if somebody wants to do something shady, they're going to do it and have a place to put it, right?
In the spot where everybody's looking now?
Hey, the thing is...
Yeah, man, it could be an illusion.
So the thing is, there are no cameras. Normally we have cameras, right? Like say in New York City, you can't just murder someone and get away with it because every single block you're walking on, they'll start tracing you, They do that here. They do that here too. So why? So I'm thinking in my head, how this place must be very unsupervised with very minimal cameras because like you would be able to trace a car that would park there, right? Like say if somebody was dumping a body there, they would trace the car, and then figure out who it is. It's just strange that that's not happening. And then also, I'm looking at all right, so the sex, if we were to say it's a serial killer, right? Normally serial killers have a type. There's normally a pattern to it, but this pattern is just I can't find a pattern to it. So for the sex, there was 19 men and 3 women, right? So that's not much. You can't really tell much from that. But then the ages, there's one that's a teen. There were 4 that were in their 20s, 7 in their 30s, 2 in their 40s, 3 in their 50s, 4 in their 60s. It's just strange. And then another thing is the ethnicities, right? So there were 13 that were black, 5 that were white, and 3 that were Hispanic. So I'm not thinking this, I don't know. It's either someone out there that's just going indiscriminately and just doing this and just finding somebody that's like, hey, this is an easy kill and I can just get this and be out now. But this is just, it's just too random.
But it's only, so in computer science, randomness is only defined as a pattern that we can't like detect. There's no such real thing as randomness, right? Like you like generate a random number generator. Like there's an algorithm and a way that it's coming up with a number, but it's so obfuscated for us that it appears random. So are you really got to go with me on this one?
I'm, because stats, like you brought up stats earlier.
I'm talking about, I specifically said about computer science.
All right.
So
still
randomness is a property of, it's kind of relies on ignorance, right? But the more knowledge you get, the more you understand about like what's happening, the less random certain things can appear to be. That does seem random, what you said to me, but like it's the job of like profilers or like criminal psychologists or like detectives that can take the information and see if there is an actual pattern. Let's say if it's like a religious thing and they're attacking Episcopalian people, or you know what I'm saying, like those things wouldn't necessarily appear out from just the age and ethnic and gender profile. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of other things that could be linking them. It could also be crimes of that's assuming it even is a serial killer, right? There could be things, it could be crimes of convenience, like they were convenient because of the person's daily schedule. You know what I'm saying? There could be a lot of different things we don't know about. And also keep in mind that law enforcement doesn't necessarily release all the information to us, because if they release all the information to us, that might mess up some things that they're doing as well too. So like, it does seem strange from what you said. I can get with you on that, Electric. That does seem a little strange, but ultimately it doesn't really mean anything to me because there's just not enough information. It just, like I said, it just seems strange. Right?
I don't know. I'm like, when you're like, oh, how is it that nobody sees it? This is not that densely populated of a city. Like, it's the size of Connecticut, the city. And we have far less people than, say, a New York or LA.
This man just acted like saying that this city's the size of Connecticut is a small thing.
What do you mean?
That's a big ass city.
That's my point. So, like, yeah, this is like, look, I just looked it up. It's the 51st most dense city out of 100 populous cities. Like, we're nowhere near the most densely populated. The odds of you being the only person, odds of you being the only person in sight is very high, I would imagine. You know, especially if you're dumping a body at night, like it's very likely that there is nobody around to see you do it, or that there are cameras in close enough proximity to catch, you know, oh, there he is, especially around a bayou. Like the whole point of a bayou is for it to like funnel water out to the Gulf of Mexico. There's not usually businesses right up on the bayou.
Very slowly.
You know, exactly.
Very slowly.
Yeah. So to that point, like you might have dumped a body like yesterday. It's gonna take a while for it to get where it's going. They like, you know, they keep finding these bodies in the same spot. It's like, oh, that's where like it gets hung up on this few rocks or something and wash up. You know, who knows where you actually dumped it though. But that's why I'm, you know, that combined with what originally sounded like 16 over the course of a year didn't sound like that much. 6 in a week, that's high. That sounds a little more. And to your earlier point, like it could be now that you have, you know, organized crime getting in on it too, being like, well, we might as well dump our bodies in the, you know, our bodies in the bayou. They're going to think is this
which again is something to take note of. I'm saying best case scenario, that is still strange.
Yeah. And so to your point though, it could be that law enforcement actually is like, Operation Crawdad or something, and they're planning a stinging operation on the body. They just don't want to say anything. So that dude or whomever it is, I'm gonna just go ahead and say the dude. Like we were talking about statistics. Statistically, we know who this dude is. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and assume this dude might have the confidence to do it again and dump in the same place and finally get caught. Like, I didn't think y'all were smart enough to catch me doing the same thing. So
a few days ago, they released a sketch of someone, right? And also like a photo of the guy riding off on a bike.
And I'm
are you sure that's not the old picture?
Yeah, I don't.
Hold up.
What old picture?
He dumping bodies on a bike?
There was a thing that I saw that people were like, "This is why you gotta double check stuff on the internet." They're like, "Here's a sketch of the person. Beware." It was one of those beware posts where you tell your friends to beware.
Yeah,
but it was the picture from like 2 years ago. Oh, you weren't here. 2 years ago, there was a person on a bike with a bike helmet that was running around grabbing people's asses and biking off.
Oh, okay.
And so it was that pic. I guess the person that picked the post from I guess they did like a Google search, didn't like really read it, and then just grabbed the picture, and then that was spreading over social media. And I was like, that wasn't like.
Okay, so I'm glad that you debunked that, because I think that is exactly what I was talking about. All right, so this guy was an ass grabber. I hope somebody caught him and beat his ass.
Yeah, he was. No, they never found him, from what I remember.
I find it incredible, like how somebody could take a picture of you and you can't be found, especially in today's time with social media.
No, they didn't take a picture of him. It was a sketch.
No, but somebody else. I saw a picture of, but you couldn't see the guy's face, but you could see them from behind.
There you go.
Yeah, but sometimes you could tell what your neighbor looks like from behind. You know, you'd be like, that's the same bike that motherfucker rode. I know that shirt because he wears that shit all the time. Like there's certain people.
Gets called in their HR. I didn't know your face, but then you turned around and I was like, that's Cheryl.
I'm pretty sure if someone saw me from behind, they would know it's me. If you saw
enough to snitch on you.
I know, for real.
Well, I don't have any. Well, let me not say I don't have any enemies, but yeah, I don't think my homies would.
Enough for the police.
Yeah. Maybe if I was out there grabbing my ass, my homies would probably snitch, just because it's an unethical thing to be doing.
True.
You know, be like, nah, fuck that, Jay, you fucking up. Go do your time.
Nah, I would just I would just straighten out with you, like just between me and you.
Be like, yo, stop this shit.
I would also just be
you might have to catch a fade real quick, and that's it. I'm not sending you to jail, bro.
You could do better.
Oh man, I'm just glad I'm not out there grabbing ass. Well, I am grabbing ass, but not people that don't want
consensually.
It.
Yeah, consensual ass grabs.
Consensual ass grabbing.
I remember oh my gosh. I remember
CAG.
There was one point where like I was so deep in a relationship where like it had just become a habit, like anytime.
I was gonna say deep in that ass.
To like, just grab, and I caught myself at work one time because somebody passed in the same way, and I was like, woo, nope. Ooh, that's a bad habit.
Oh boy.
I can't let that be the way I go out.
Yo, for real.
For real, I would have.
That's why I explain that one.
I would have no way to explain that to HR. Like, you gotta understand.
Hey, I ain't worried about HR. You worried about HR? You worried about HR? And then HR is the least of my problems if that happens, bro. Mm-hmm. I gotta go home and explain to my wife what happened.
Oh my god!
So what happened was we got fired for grabbing somebody's ass at work. I thought it was your ass though.
No, I knew it wasn't, but see, she passed it the same way you did, and habit just kicked in.
So it's my fault.
Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Nah, HR is the least of my problems, bro. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, they throw you under the jail, man.
I'm like, you know what? Just take me to jail right now. I ain't going home. I was just get home. Let's do my time.
We said for better or worse. This would be worse.
We actually brought that up during last week when I was sick. I was like, yo, this sickness and health shit, I just said it.
Yo. Oh man, same thing. I remember the one time like I was the only healthy person out of everybody in the family was sick. It was like, yo, can we get back to the health part?
Yeah. What you gonna say, James?
I'm Googling to see what are the wildest theories.
Wildest theories of what? Of what's
of the
going
scenario, yeah. Besides the serial killer, I mean, I just want to see what other people are thinking.
There could be. I mean, my whole thing is there could be so many different things, but the only thing that seems to be consistent is that this is a little abnormal. That's it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying that's the only thing that seems to be consistent.
Yeah. Not only that, I'm like, wait, how is this the first time I remember this happening in like the city's history? Because
It happened last year too. You remember?
no,
It happened last year.
Well, so I find it interesting how I'm looking up like the autopsy stuff, and I found that there's quite a few that are like drug related. And it made me think, okay, maybe if this is drug related, they're in there. Like one of them is a drowning, one of them is an unaliving of themselves. And I'm like, okay, so possibly these people could be homeless. And then I started looking that up, and it says they haven't released an official count of how many of the individuals were experiencing homelessness. I think that's I don't know, that's something to know. Right? Like,
for you to know?
Not for me to know, but like if the news outlets are asking about this, would they ask, was this person a homeless person or not?
They said they haven't released it. They just haven't released it. Right? That don't mean they don't know.
No, I'm not saying that they don't know. I'm just saying that the thing I'm stating is that I don't know, why wouldn't they release something like that, whether or not they're homeless or not? And it could be any sort of factor, as if they don't want to kind of make it look like Houston has a high homelessness problem and like the homeless are just dying in the streets.
Well, there's lots of reasons why they wouldn't share information with the public.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why they wouldn't.
All right, so remember I was like, how come we don't remember this? It's when I just Google like serial killer in Houston, apparently only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names come up, and all of them say it was like 4 people that they killed. It was usually over like multiple years, and they were eventually found for whatever slip up or reason. But yeah, man, this would be abnormal if it's one dude and not like any type of copycats or pilots on.
I think it's abnormal regardless from the data, but it's neither here nor over there.
Again, I still think there's a bit of frequency illusion with that, but
there's not a frequency illusion. The frequency's higher. We're hitting the yearly numbers in October. Like it's higher. It's a higher frequency. And within the last couple of weeks, the frequency's like been really high to your admission. Oh, yeah, so like it's higher.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm saying part of that may also be that, oh, now we're looking for it. So we're finding.
When you say looking for it and finding, what do you mean? You mean like the they're just like scraping the like, what do you mean?
You said like bodies are washing up more frequently, right?
So when you said that,
how are they washing up?
Like water.
How do people know that a body washed up?
Because a wet body is found on the like bank.
How?
Do you want me to explain like how like
yes,
like waters and rivers work?
I want you to explain how they're being
I don't understand. I don't understand what you're confused about.
How are they being flagged? How are they being found? Like you said, is now they're combing the river, the bayous. In theory, these are people flagging like, hey, I see a body.
They're responding to police reports.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the public is looking for this now because
they are.
It's all over the news. Like a body got found. This body got.
Does that mean the public is looking for it? Did I say that?
Oh my gosh! No, you never say anything.
No. If I said it, let me know that I said that. I don't remember saying that.
You never say anything. You never say anything. You only infer. So
what did I say to infer? What did I say to infer that?
I'm going to say it. The public is looking for it now. So
what
the
makes
public
you say
is looking
that?
for it now. The public is looking for it now because it keeps being found.
So what makes you think the public is looking for it?
Because it's all over the news. I'm going to say it. Public
That's
is
a
looking
jump.
for it. It's all over the news.
Well, that's a jump.
Yep. So anyway, the public is looking for it. It's all over the news. So that I'm not surprised that more are being found. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of it, where there may have been more bodies, but people weren't habitually looking for them. Like,
But that's assuming that they were. I mean, if that's the case, if everyone's just out and looking for it, and there's a larger.
I'm gonna say that I don't think there's never been a case of somebody saw a body, didn't know that that's what they were seeing, and it just didn't go noticed. You know what I'm saying? And just kept getting washed on out to Gulf of Mexico.
Very slowly.
So slow. Like, to the point where, like, if you told me it was a log, I'd be like, okay. Or alligator.
Didn't you just say that you don't think somebody saw it? Didn't? Never. I'm done.
Anyway.
Oh.
But to that point, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's the population density, like, in order for...
What are you saying, Jay?
I was going to say, like, with all this news, like, there's a spread of theories. And I just wanted to touch on, like, why theories spread.
Speculation is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me. I just said, like, people are looking for it now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that.
And according to experts, they note that conspiracy theories often provide people with, like, a sense of control and kind of like certainty during stressful times. And then people, like, often tend to go with, like, their own confirmation bias as well.
Of course, like UFOs.
Oh yeah. I've seen like 5 of them in my life.
And Zodiac.
And the Zodiac, yeah. You're a true Virgo.
But yeah, I always tell people, like, when we're engaging in what I call speculation Olympics, it's like, I don't like speculating, try to keep things, but every once in a while speculation's fun. So, let's do speculation Olympics. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go all in,
And are they saying how these people that got found, like, how they were reported missing, when they were last seen, like how they...
Not all of them.
What are the theories of, like, how they were snatched up?
Not all of them. There's been some information that was released for some of them, but I don't think all of them have that information released.
All right.
I'm sure somebody created like a website, HoustonBayouKiller.com or some shit like that,
Yeah. By the way, remember you said this happened last year? I don't remember that. And, like, in my quick search, nothing came up about last year.
It just because it wasn't so condensed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here's a...
Sorry. I missed the last line of one of these people, and it was executed by the state of Texas in 2018. I was like, 2018? Woo, that was recent. And now that I'm looking at it, it's like, this one executed in 2. I was like, true, this is Texas. You got to be bold to be a serial killer here. Don't mess with
Straight up.
Man, you couldn't catch me doing.
Hey, you know what? A lot of these are on Braised Bayou, bro. Braised Bayou.
It's deep.
It's not in the greatest parts.
Exactly. That's the other thing I was thinking.
The greatest parts use them, bro. It does go through the med. It does go through the med center though. So
I mean, you go to other cities, man. There's parts of cities where you just dump bodies, bro, and they're known for it. So
that's
like what?
That's part of.
What do you mean, like
what?
He's not a serial killer. He doesn't keep a
exactly, but
next time
people know where to dump bodies.
This is where I'll go dump bodies.
Here's why I'm saying that, because I watch a lot of true crime shit, and I know about places that are known for finding bodies dumped, and those places that are known for finding bodies dumped are maybe like 6 or 7 a year. Like, the numbers are lower. I think we're extrapolating based off what we assume is a high number versus what in reality is a high number. Like Licky Park in Detroit is a place where people just dump bodies. And I think there's like a handful of bodies there a year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I agree with you. Yeah, there's places in cities where, like, that's just where they dump bodies. But in order for that place to get that name, how many bodies do you think it needs to be dubbed as the place where you go dump bodies? I think that number is a lot lower than you think it is my point.
Well, also, again, any law enforcement area worth its salt wouldn't have some place where it's like, oh yeah, we always find a body here. It's like, then how come you're not watching it?
Exactly. So if they find like 4, that place automatically gets deemed as the body place.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So when they get 22, it's like, yo,
yeah, but
what's
again,
going on?
a river seems like a
Don't say river.
I mean,
don't say river.
When that water hits, you can call it a bayou all you want, but
don't say river. You said it's a glorified ditch. That's what you started off with. Don't say river.
It really is, though.
It sends water to the Gulf of Mexico very slowly.
Very slowly. But hey, when that water hit, when that water hits, it rises. It rises. It sets. That body might move a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is, it seems like I don't know where else would come to mind in terms of like, oh, if you're gonna dump a body, like those movies where it's like, oh no, this happened. What are we gonna do? I don't know. We gotta dump the body. Where? It's like, you think I know where to dump a body? I don't do this every day. And then it's like, we're gonna dump it here. Here, if you were setting this movie in Houston, if they didn't dump it in the bayou, I'd be like, what are they doing? There's bayous. It would seem like the most logical place to me. So the fact that they only find 16 a year makes me feel a little better because I thought it was higher. Of the 473
movies.
Of the 300, no, I'm just giving you because everyone watches movies, so it's easy to paint this scenario in the form of a movie scene. The fact that
all right, bro.
Like, hey, only 1 in 3 HLS podcast hosts listen to true crime podcasts. So I can't say like if you're listening to a true crime podcast. No. So anyway, of the 337 murders that I don't want to say typically happen because that's not a typical number, but that's the number that was reported in 2023. Of those, I guess I'm surprised more of them weren't dumped in bayous. And maybe there are more that were that, we just didn't find because they got washed out to the Gulf of Mexico very slowly. Or, whoever was jogging by the bayou thought it was a log. Something.
Makes me wonder how. So these bayous go all the way out to the Gulf of Mexico. So, outside of Houston, more towards the Gulf of Mexico, like how many bodies are being discovered on the way over there, on the way out?
Well, who's looking for them?
People are.
It's
not
expensive.
looking for this stuff.
It's not cheap to go like looking for bodies.
Jay, these bayous don't move water like that. That's why we keep on laughing, saying it works its way to the Gulf of Mexico very slowly.
Yeah.
So it's not like a body's gonna wash all the way from Houston all the way down to Galveston. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
it don't work like that.
Wait, for our listeners, for me, I've come from the Northeast.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, man, it depends on the rain because that rain be hitting sometimes.
I wouldn't explain it for people that are not from down here, what a bayou is, what it looks like. And compare from the city to the non-city.
All right, so check it out. So I was born in Louisiana, and when you say Louisiana, well, most people say bayou, they're thinking of kind of like a small swamp, right? When we say bayou in Houston, we're talking about just basically these man-made retention rivers or reservoirs, or where you go, tributaries. Yeah, like a drainage river. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of them in the city because Houston floods super easy because it's flat below sea level. So we have these drainage things that go across the whole city to reduce flooding. And so we call those bayous. And there's a lot of them in the city. There's 22 of them in the city, as we learned today. But they are not really designed to they're not rivers. So they don't have a consistent current. And when it does have a current, it's very slow. They're oftentimes very shallow. They're not very deep.
I just want to correct one thing you said. Houston's not below sea level.
It's not? Oh, I thought it was. Right?
Nope. 7.5 feet.
Okay. Yeah, so whatchamacallit. So, but it does flood very easily. And so we have all these, these little systems that run through. So if you don't know what a bayou is when we're talking about it in the Houston context, just Google search Buffalo Bayou, and you can kind of see what we're talking about. So it's like basically like a small. How you can't even call it? It's more of a stream than it is a river.
I got you.
You put it
Hey,
like
we're
that.
gonna go back to movies. You ever watch those movies and then they like all of a sudden they turn off the streets and then they go down the
They
ramp.
turn off the street like a light
Yeah.
switch.
No. They turn
Just turn the street off, like no
oh
more
my God,
street.
we're talking about movies. We're talking about movies.
I don't know what kind of. You might be a
chasing.
sci-fi movie you watch, and they just turn streets
No,
off.
We're talking. Okay, we're talking about car chase. Car chase.
Sometimes
in a movie.
when you question shit like that, I think you're just being a dick. Yeah,
I don't know.
If you really,
partially
I
is.
don't know what he's talking about.
also-
Like he's just turning off the
partially
street.
is, but he also is like bringing up a good point. I was not clear enough. Movie car chase scene. They were on regular streets.
Oh, they turn off of the street. They turn off the street.
Exactly.
Oh, they turn off the street. I'm like, what kind of sci-fi movie you watching?
I know. I will use my full diction. They turn off of the street into what are the drainage, I guess LA has these. I've never seen them because I haven't been to LA in
LA? Don't
Yeah.
rain.
which is why they can do this in the movies because
we have like
dry.
I just
Listen,
got
so
back from LA.
the one you're thinking of the one you're thinking about in LA. That's like there's like two of them.
Yeah.
Whatever one you're thinking about, there's like two of them.
Well, the point is, they like no matter what car chasing happens, they always do it. I think Terminator, they did in the Terminator, where it's like,
Yep.
So they going down that drainage thing. Well, essentially, Houston has those too, but ours actually have water in them because it does rain here, and they work very slowly but efficiently to move the water out to the Gulf of Mexico.
If you've played in Los Santos before, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So the
We
only
should
problem
play
is-
GTA. The four of us should play GTA together.
Who's the four of us? There is 1, 2, 3 hosts here.
The fourth person.
Okay.
You know, shows have like that fourth regular that comes in every once in a while.
As long as that person ain't dumping bodies in the bayou, I'm down.
Yeah, they just have that fourth like semi regular host.
Yeah. Words notorious. Bring them back.
Yeah. Oh, stop! It's almost. Jeez.
You mentioned
I know.
LA. I was in LA last week. LA was cool. I got to.
Did you see the one of two things?
What are you talking about?
The one of two drainage things that we just mentioned?
No,
There's
I
only two.
didn't. No, I didn't get around much in LA. I just.
were you?
I was by Venice Beach. Is an area called Marina del Rey.
Marina Del Rey.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
really posh area.
Oh,
And I was walking right down the beach, right? And I'm walking by like the houses that are on the beach before you get to the area where all the vendors are at. And I swear I walked by one of the houses that's in GTA 5. And I was like, oh shit, that's where this guy was sitting
It's
in.
so good. It's so good.
Yo.
I listen, living there and playing GTA 5.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like I
It
can
is.
drive through my neighborhood. You
It
know what I
really
mean?
is. Yeah. I agree
It's
with you on that.
they did a great job, dude. You know where Los Feliz is, you know where Anaheim is. You can go through Arcadia,
Yeah.
the Valley. Like they do such a good job of it. That GTA 6 is set where?
Miami.
Oh man,
It's going to be crazy.
I do a GTA Houston, bro.
Did you hear that they're thinking about the publisher is toying with the idea of possibly charging per hour, like to play
Oh, yeah, I heard
GTA
that.
6?
He made a
Tell
comment
me you
about
don't
it.
like money. Tell me you don't like money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am walking away from this conversation strangely feeling a little more safe because I expect there to be way more bodies in the bayou than you have told me there are normally. Like this moment in history aside, only 16 a year. It's pretty good. I'm still not going to go jogging by a bayou ever. Because even aside from potential serial killers, I was also worried about alligators because apparently those have moved into the area. So no, thank you. But yeah, definitely not going anytime now. Not that I really wanted to jog at night, but still. I'm from a big city. I don't do that.
Just had to bring us back.
Yeah. Well, also I started enjoying that uncomfortable silence right there too. But yeah. I also figured that we wanted to wrap up, and we would take it to video games another time.
Speaking of which, can we beat this fucking game, bro?
Yeah, definitely.
Jeez.
Well, actually, can we? Every time we think we're done, they bring
Can we? That's the question I'm asking. Can we?
You know what?
True story.
I wouldn't be.
I'm like one
be
more
mad.
3-hour session away from checking. Like, how much fucking longer we got, dude?
I wouldn't be mad if they've just habitually like bit so many games that the game itself goes way longer than anyone cares to play it.
Hold on, I could look up what the playtime is.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just the playtime. I'm not looking at anything else.
No,
I'm not telling you that.
Don't do it. All right, fine.
All right, everybody. This has
don't make-
been the HLS podcast. I am Electric Thunder.
I'm Scrota the Wola.
I'm the Rebel Alliance.
Man, you guys, I don't know what happened there. Are you guys okay? This conversation drained the life out of you guys?
I'm drained, bro.
You know what? I realized I could go on, but
Of course you can go on. I'm
I should.
drained.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Please like, subscribe. Please share it with your friends. We appreciate all the support. We're trying to grow here. And,
Hey,
as you can tell, these guys like to talk. So, keep it going for us. All right. I hope y'all have a great week. And see y'all next week, guys. Later.
Oh, and tell us your theories on what's going on in Houston. And how soon you look forward to moving down here.
All right, peace. I'm gonna jump the split fiction, man.
All right, man. I'll see you there.
Peace.
Bye.
I guess I'm a stream. Oh,